I wouldn't call myself a natural. I'm quite a determined human, and there was a lot of kids that were a lot better than me at that time. They'd sort of either started early or picked it up a lot faster. It definitely didn't come easy, but I'm a persistent human, that's for sure. I might have the best wave of the heat and then have absolutely no backups. I had no real mentors at that time, and there was no such thing as coaches back then. Really, no one got coached. That was not a thing at that time. Grew up in a place called Mandurah, which was quite a small town. When I was born, there was only 3,000 people there in the early 70s. So it was like a sort of a fishing village, and a lot of retirees there. And there's a lot of holiday houses. It's being only sort of just an hour out of Perth. There was a lot of people from Perth that had holiday houses down there. But the good thing is it's got a lot of little reef breaks around the part of town where I grew up, and it doesn't get big. It's if you want to be a big wave surfer and grow up in Mandurah, you've got to travel 2 hours south down around Margs. But I was really lucky. Mum was a swimmer. She's a competitive swimmer, and she used to drag myself and my brother, a couple of years younger than me, down to the beach regularly, and we were always called hyperactive, is what my mum and friends used to call myself and my next brother under me. And so she would spend time swimming and dragging us out in the water, body surfing, running up and down sand dunes to try and wear that energy out of her two eldest sons. And then somehow that happened to morph into a bit of surfing on a cooler on a foamy. So Mum, probably around 8 or 9, I think we started mucking around on foamies, and then got my first fiberglass board when I was about 10. I got a nice little, I think it was like a 5/8 single fin. So I was lucky enough to start in the sort of early to mid 80s on single fins, and then onto a 20, and then onto second-hand thrusters. So yeah, it was a great part of the world. It's not that small down there anymore. It's kind of around 80,000 people. So it was one of the fastest growing places in Australia for many, many years. But privileged. We were surrounded by water. We had a massive estuary. We learnt fishing and crayfishing, which is what you guys call rock lobsters. So they're called they're called crays over here. But fishing, prawning, crabs. We've got a lot of crabs around there. Learnt how to dive from an early age, just free diving and sailing and all that fun stuff that you get to do when you grow up around a lot of water.
Man, that sounds like an epic childhood. And I'm sure that free diving experience comes in handy if you're towing into big waves, just comfort with holding your breath, huh? In hindsight, I should have done a lot more of it. I kind of teetered around the edges of that. But yeah, a lot of my mates that are legit big wave guys, they're all free divers as well, for sure. Right. And so did you, so you started surfing, did you get obsessed early, and how was, were you competing early, or what was that like?
Yeah, so my dad was a racehorse trainer. He used to break in horses. So we grew up on a property that was sort of walking distance to the beach. So I had both sides. I had the ocean, and then, Dad had these aspirations for us boys, especially me being the eldest, to follow in his footsteps. So he used to have unbroken ponies and would throw us on those with, often without a saddle, and in the round yard, and start getting us to ride these things. And he did a really good job of scaring the absolute bejesus out of us. And, that was half the life. And then Mum would drag us down the beach, and soon enough, surfing just took over. I sort of finished horse riding, by the time I was about 12, and not finished, but yeah, the passion just wasn't there for it, and surfing well and truly taken over. By the time I was 12 years old, I was in the local board riders club, and I think that's when I got my first brand new board from the local surf shop, and started competing. I think it would have been around 12, and then by 13 I was doing the junior state titles, and most of the first year high school I was doing all the comps that I could at the state level. I've given up footy, which is AFL, our football over here. And yeah, I'd given footy up, I'd given horse riding up all of the last year of primary school, year 7, around the age of 12. And then, yeah, just the salt water was absolutely flowing through the veins by first year high school. And that was all I dreamt of, thought of, wanted to be a pro surfer, posters on my wall, you know, just live and breathe every day of wanting to be a surfer.
Oh man, yeah, that's epic. So first I'm like free diver. That's gonna contribute to being a good surfer, and then the next part is riding like crazy bucking broncos. I mean, like I don't know. That seems like a match made in heaven in terms of like training to get into wave riding. So that's epic. So then as a surfer, were you always naturally a good surfer, or was this something that you had to work hard towards, or how would you describe that?
I wouldn't call myself a natural. I'm quite a determined human, and there was a lot of kids that were a lot better than, a lot of kids that were a lot better than me at that time. They'd sort of either started early or picked it up a lot faster, and yeah, I definitely didn't just go straight to the top of the state rounds or anything like that. I was we had a couple of kids around my age, and there's probably 4 of us that were sort of around the same level in the local board riders club, and I definitely wasn't at the top of that 4. I was sort of in the middle, and then as I got to the state rounds, like it took me a long time to make finals. I was kind of, and if I did make a final, I was like 4th or 5th. Back then, they'd still have 5-man heats, and it was a totally different structure. It was best 4 waves back then, and I'm not very good at focusing either. That's something that I had to learn over time. So I'd often make a lot of mistakes. I might have the best wave of the heat and then have absolutely no backups. I had no real mentors at that time, and there was no such thing as coaches back then. There really no one got coached. That was not a thing at that time. So yeah, everything. I didn't make my first state team till I was 16 or 17. So all the kids that I was competing against and were friends of mine at the state level, they were all, they'd all made 3, 4, 5 state teams by the time I had. So it was kind of, definitely didn't come easy, but I'm a persistent human, that's for sure.
Nice. Well, I think those stories are actually more interesting in a lot of ways, and there's kind of more value to be gained from them, like when you have to struggle through something versus if you're just naturally born with it.
Do you struggle with your paddle power? Well, I can go months without surfing and roll to pumping waves and surf 3-hour sessions multiple times a day, day after day after day, by using the Basis Paddle Trainer. It was a total game changer for me, and it can be for you too. These things actually work, unlike elastic resistance bands. You can train your paddling anytime, anywhere, so you can catch more waves and have more fun. Just 10 to 20 minutes a couple times a week, and you're gonna be in insane paddle shape, right? So remember, the key progression is more waves, and the key to more waves is more paddle power. Check it out at surfbasis.com. You're gonna be stoked.